Okay, hopefully this helps. This is kind of a quick explanation of what I think most guitarists should kind of try to focus on as far as learning the fretboard. It's going to do two things. It's going to get you started a little faster on the stuff that you actually want to do without memorizing a ton of scales with no real rhyme or reason to what they mean. Then it also gives you a better path for long-term understanding of the entire fretboard. First and foremost, you want to learn a basic pentatonic form. So let's say the key of A. Let's go with minor pentatonic. So on your E string, it's here. This is the first main position you're going to learn. You add a note, and you got the blues. That one is your blues. So you're in A minor. Okay, so we're still in A. Here's where we can switch to minor with the same form. I'm sorry, to switch to major. So all of a sudden, we want to go A major. Use that same form, but slide it down 4 notes. So here's your root still. Remember, this is pentatonic root. So you're doing the same form, basically, pentatonic, but your root's here. So. And then, once again. That's A is kind of the key behind the key that you're playing to there. Anyway, that's why I say that learning that pentatonic form is really one of the most important things. That way you're not learning a million different scales that don't really apply, maybe to like 1 or 2 Latin or classical songs. Okay, stay with me. So, you learn that pentatonic form then. What about the ones next to it? Well, that's pretty easy. Now you just got to force yourself to learn about 5 patterns. That's it. That's all you're going to have to learn. Okay, so the next one, now, here's your A, right? Now you're going to visualize. You know that A is also your open string. So since you know this one, it's pretty easily to visualize there, and you can also visualize it here. There's your A's. Now, of course, if you can play this one and the one next to it, then you can play the one right here. So once again, you can play all the way up and down. 5 positions, pentatonic. That's all you have to learn. Now you can use that same 5 positions when you go to major. Once again, A, but you just got to change the position. Now just remember that your root note changes. So if I'm in A minor pentatonic, there's my root. So if I'm changing to down here, my root's still right there. A, it's not. That note's in there, in the major pentatonic, but, so that's really the same thing. You're keeping that same form. The only thing that's changing is your root note. So, to sum it up, learn the main pentatonic shape. That's the main position that most people play out of, but they'll play, through it. So we'll play through it a little bit, so learn all 5 of them, but once again, learn that main pentatonic shape first. Learn how it applies to major and minor. Here's the most important thing. This is what I didn't do. Learn the intervals. There's 12 notes that you can play. And then you're back up to an octave. So intervals are based off of major scale. So A major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, octave, 7. So you're going to hear people talk about chords and things like a flatted 7th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. flat it. So I'm working with some chord geniuses, right? Every once in a while they'll say, hey, flat the seventh, you know, sharp this or that. I should know how those chords are built, but I don't. So one thing I can kind of, you know, do to fake my way through it, if they're asking for a chord and they're like, hey, you know, flat that seventh, I'll literally find what key I'm in. Find that note. You could jump around octaves, kind of try to figure out what they're saying. Here's one of the most important things about learning intervals, and this is for your long-term understanding of music. When you're learning a riff, that way you're not just learning a riff or a finger placement, you know what interval it is. You know, here's an example when I started playing Allman Brothers when I was in high school. Okay, so that little riff, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. That's like not in the blues scale. It used to blow my mind. Like, why does the blues scale not sound bluesy? Why are blues players playing all this sick shit that's not in the blues scale? Because they're playing major and minor together. Always. Almost all great blues players, you know. So what I didn't know that so we're in a sort of key changes, right? The whole song's in A, but you know, you make changes through there, just like jazz or anything. So A, now you go to the D. So that little, we're in D. Let's go here for make it simple. D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Anyway, so just to cap it up, learn your pentatonic form first. Yeah, it's not everything, but that form, once you learn it here, the one next to it, the one next to it, well, then they all connect, you know, because once again, you know, it's, here's that root. Also, there's a root, so see how they connect right there. So just learn those, basically, the main position, the one to the left, the one to the right. Then you're going to move it up a string, and that's where it connects again. So learn that, how to move it in between major and minor. Start to learn and memorize the notes, like what intervals they are. I should actually be sitting here doing this and know basically every note, what it is as far as an interval. Is it, you know, flatted third and all that crap. Not very good at it, but it'll help you huge for long term. But once again, just pentatonic, major and minor, how to slide it, either way, you know. So if somebody's like, you know, playing in C, you know, I know C is also here. You know, if we're doing C minor, C major, minor, major. That's about all I got for you, but yeah, I can say that's a lot more helpful, and you're going to have every bit of ammo at your fingertips if you learn that, to make music, to start making melodies, to start understanding what other people are doing with melodies. You know, from there, you know, you can definitely start to learn, you know, different scales. But, you know, by that point, you don't really have to memorize that particular scale. You just kind of, the music will be thrown at you, and you can just kind of feel. Once again, there's only 12 notes you can play, so you can kind of feel what intervals shift. That's all the scale is. Hey, for this chord sequence, these few notes, you know, are gonna shift. You know, but it may shift over one chord in the progression, and maybe. like the last chord, you know. Anyway, that's the essence of music intervals. What I think you should learn for scales and in order to learn quickly and all that stuff. Anyway, it's a big mashup of information, but just mainly start with your pentatonic form. And once again, work on the melody in your head too. If you get the melody in your head, even if you can't play it like right away off the top of your head, slow it down. Just kind of think about what's going on, find it note for note, and write it down.